Sì, sì, ci mancherebbe.
Si sono trovati in 4 per USB.
Prego.
Pulissimo.
Ok.
We've been having was completely late. We have only 3 presentations. Yeah? We have only 3 presentations.
Okay. Yes, because Professor Campisi, she will present in her room.
Okay.
Because she's also the chair, so she can be in the same place.
Two presentations, so mine, yours,
Yes.
and finally we will also. I'll give my. Okay, this is mine. These are many photos.
Yes.
Not showing the room, the empty room, but finally you're okay. How are you? It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm good.
Okay.
No, perché almeno mi ha detto se potevo andare a aprire anche l'altra stanza, perché non c'è l'assistente, invece a quanto pare c'è.
Chi è?
Giulio Biondi.
Ok. Ce l'hai il...
L'adattatore? Sì.
Ok.
Comunque ho perso la pennina con la...
E chissà dove il cavolo è?
Non l'ho trovata neanche nella borsa.
No, aspetta, scioglino la mia pennina.
Oggi non funziona internet. Too hot.
La pennina. Ok.
I put my presentation on the desktop.
Yes,
Is
okay.
there any folder that...
No, not yet. Which one is it? Because the X slide. No.
It's PowerPoint.
I give you also the presentation of
No.
Maybe this
Yeah.
upper.
This one?
Mm, no. The top one.
This one.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I'll give you also the presentation of Iota.
Okay. She will be here or...
No,
So I'll have to share the
but
presentation.
she's with us. 1 second. Yes, she's with us. It's the second. 1 second.
It's okay if I open this window.
It's okay. Yeah. Is there Wi-Fi connection that I can use?
Yes, the EduROM, but I don't have the... I'll ask for the
No,
credentials.
there is also another. They wrote, but if you don't have the EduROM, there is also another.
Yes,
account.
I'll go downstairs and
Okay.
for the
Thank you.
Okay.
Beniamino was incredibly late, so finally we bring a taxi. Okay, this one. Okay.
Ciao Chiara, ascolta, stiamo sempre in battaglia per risolvere noi per quanto riguarda la questione della personalità giuridica per fare questo atto in 448, ok? Perché credo che tu abbia scritto Riccardo di primo livello non c'è no, evidentemente una disponibilità finanziaria per impressione a fare questo atto, quindi non credo vedere la vita, niente, ti tengo aggiornato, ok?
Cioè, Enrico, io oggi ho presentazione, modo, sono qui appena 2 minuti e poi ti
If you want, you can.
anche quel progetto. Io sto ancora aspettando la risposta dei francesi, vediamo un attimo. Dai, ok, ci aggiorniamo, ciao ciao.
Thank you. Che caldo.
Okay, so I wanted also that you moderate the first session because it was definitely more full of people. So for that reason, so I'm sorry, but finally all in different rooms and and finally we are only three, only us. So
It's good. More time for discussion.
yeah.
Chiara, mi hai già dato la pennina per caso?
No, ci ho messo tutto là.
Ah, ok.
Ci ho dato, ci ho messo tutto là, ok. Okay, so if you want, we can start.
We can start, yeah. Even informal, just.
Yeah, just informal.
It's better.
Yeah. But I can introduce.
I'll share the screen. I'll share your presentation, Chiara.
Yeah, also because it's all recorded, so finally it's extremely informal. Okay. This session is about smart island and communities. So finally, I'm working also in a smart city topic, but was in the other session. And this particular project, Island of Meaning, is inside a specific work, because the next week I have to go to Malaysia, and will spend a period of 1 month and a half of visiting professorship with these two colleagues, Go Ongching and Noura Shimana Shimlim. I hope that they are not online because my pronunciation is really bad. La tua pennina, Sara.
Ah, sì.
Grazie mille.
And with la fai una foto una?
Sì, sì. Arrivo.
With this one. And I will share just for the social media. Just close. Exactly, close. And okay. And this was a preliminary study in which we will try to compare the Mediterranean and Southeast Asian context. And the project was extremely focused on tourism, also because I will go in August. And I left 2 weeks from going around in Malaysia, because in this way, this is my holidays, so working, but also try to say something. And this is the missing dimension that we will find. I repeat, this is a preliminary analysis, because I in theory I didn't have started, so we are only 3. So finally,
But there was someone online? No.
someone.
Yes, there's someone online.
Someone online.
Yes, there's Chiara Spadaro. She's to present later.
Okay, so what that we find, what that we identify that the missing dimension is that when you study touristic dimension, generally are based basically in 2 main points: the growth-oriented dynamics and risk-based paradigm, and only metrics, but not meaning. Meaning means what that I feel in a specific place, or what that a specific place could mean for the residents, it could mean for a tourist, and what that you feel staying in a specific place. So metrics, but not feelings. So this is what we identify. And with this project, we try to insert also the emotional by considering all aspects of it, by considering tourism and coastal areas, because finally the main cities that we compare are Cagliari, that is a coastal site, and Kuala Lumpur, that is also a coastal area. So this is in a nutshell what that we identify, that finally there is looking in the literature review, there are more analysis I can understand, but on rivers, capital investment, something correlated with the numbers, but not with also with experiential well-being, and all that could be correlated with the feeling. So obviously, for going into detail, for trying to merge the metrics and meanings, we go into detail for trying to identify the affordance. Affordance is a term bring on social field. That means what that some object can provoke, can give you, and could be different. It depends on who you are. So, and for doing that, we try to identify something that could be measurable by considering symbol attachment, everyday practices, and also spatial afference, not only the economic indicators. So this is the kind of analysis that we try to identify, and we identify three main elements that wanted to reply on this question: how can coastal and highland urban region foster inclusive and sustainable modalities of coastal well-being under persistent pressure from tourism and environmental change? And these three elements was identity, coexistence, and operationalization. So we'll try to identify these three, and I work with indicators. So finally, I try a modality to put this element under element that could be measurable. So this is in a nutshell what that I said before, and by putting together, finally, I repeat, this diagram study because I had to start the 13th of July, but because in the agreement was also a publication, I was more comfortable to have started to do this one. So we put together this one and identified something that could be measurable with the relational coastal well-being. So for doing this kind of analysis, the coastal well-being has some elements that are different from the other context. For instance, also working in a coastal area could be different from working in a place in which there is not sea. So we push our study by considering the water and the water-based identity, because we found that it's different. And of course, it's not the unique, but there is also the tourism intensity and everyday practices, all correlated with the water-based identity. Of course, governance, environmental conditions are always as key elements for doing this analysis. So I will directly to what that we identify. We identify three domains. The first one is the identity, the water-based identity as the symbolic attachment. And seeing the literature, we identify that there are four elements that can put in consideration that this first domain that can create an identity by considering only the water. So, and was first the water interaction. The water interaction, so the modality in which the sea, the water in general, can active daily routine and also urban formation. The second one was memory generation, so the feeling that can produce the water in correlation on what that is surrounding. The heritage narrative that is different from other contexts in which there is not the water, and also the symbolic attachment. So what that the sea could represent for me. So this is the second domain. So the intensity of tourism and also the social spatial transformation. Of course, always seeing the literature, we identify a specific point, a break point, in which finally there is not. We cannot speak about tourism as a pleasure, but finally for residents, tourism could be seen as a bad element, and and no, because this one, okay, and in which there are commodification and I forgot to insert, and also displacement of place. And I repeat, this is a preliminary study. What that we wanted to go in that detail is also to identify when this point, this threshold point, because and I wanted to identify something that could be measurable. So how much tourism is, how much people, the different territory can absorb, can satisfy both needs, the needs of residents to stay in a quiet place with tourists, but not too much, and also exactly. So my next step is identify this point. And the third domain is this one. Try to study a modality in which is possible to represent the everyday practices and the language interface. And always, thanks to the literature, we identify these four elements to study: accessibility, temporal rhythms. Okay, you understood. Environmental comfort and the public space design. So this is the four elements that we analyze. And of course, what that was also really interesting, that there are differences between Mediterranean context and East Asian context. But I did this kind of study also by studying emotion in another project. But what was extremely interesting is that the maximum point are similar for the different contexts. We did this kind of study with Alenka Poplin. She's based in US, me, Italy, and India with other colleagues. And what was extremely interesting is that the feeling that are not in the opposite but in the middle have a different meaning. It depends on the context, and it's extremely interesting because for me one feeling that is positive but not too much could be not the same for US or for Indian people. So also to identify the element to study that could be similar for the different contexts is extremely interesting because it's different. Yeah. So we identify the same also in this project. And finally, I succeeded to represent in a operational layer assessment model. And now we are in this phase in which identify the modality in which it's possible to analyze accessibility, mobility routines, temporal rhythm, environmental comfort, public space design, environmental everyday practices, resident visitor balance, governance, and now we have to apply. So this is the frame, and in the paper is also written step by step, which is possible to identify this element and try to operationalize this one. And this is, I repeat, a preliminary study, but we identify also the regional contribution from theoretical, methodological, and global applicability. And from theoretical, because I didn't find a similar, and also by considering the methodological aspect of global applicability, because we in the next month we will be able to apply in Mediterranean and in Malaysia context. So I finish and okay.
Very and connected to what we are doing in our institute, also trying to analyze different user needs and preferences. So you will see actually my presentation.
Okay.
Related,
Yeah, yeah.
It's another aspect. It's about how to navigate the people.
So the next work together.
Yeah, the next work. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I started to go in detail for coastal weaving because my next work was with Pierre Frankhauser, and I applied his model in Cagliari. But for instance, we identify some coastal areas that are really important for us, but this coastal area had a bad evaluation in his model because, I could conceptualize later because, of course, he worked in his model was applied in a place in which there is not coast. So finally, at the end of the project, I put the question, but sometimes also the empty places for a coastal context could be a good point, not a bad, in an internal context, not, or in a place, because sometimes also tourists, for instance, near Napoli, there is a place in which there is not accessibility, but people want to bring an apartment or stay there because there is a wonderful view, and only for having this emotional part, this emotional only to see they want also to pay too much only for
The perception.
exactly, and we didn't put in this. So for that reason, I wanted to try to identify also the key elements for coastal for the coastal context because I repeat, in the analysis with Pierre, there are some places that are important, but the model represented that was bad places. There is this. So I'm sorry. I'm just.
Okay, it sounds very interesting. So I had to, if you be able to have this common framework with indicators and parameters, just first without the use cases, but to define the whole framework that can be replicated.
Yeah. I will advise as soon as I can because I will start the 13th of July. So I will advise as soon as I identify each element.
And are you planning to use some, how to say, emotional data sets? For example, data from social media for perception of the environments. This is, how to say, sometimes it's tricky to find such kind of data. And,
with Alenka, we tried to apply a game
to collect data
for understanding
the users.
The feeling of the specific of the different place, and with the game we wanted to try to change the feeling of a specific place. Of course, if it's not a good feeling, so we are testing this one in the different contexts in US, Italy, and India, and it required so much time because Alenka is doing materially the game. So finally, and also it required so much time to identify also which kind of feeling, because as I said before, the feeling that could be equal for this place, it's a problem because not the opposite, but the intermediate feeling is not similar. So we are working on that. But also because in the social media it's difficult to collect the data. So it's or you have I don't know. You can do a specific group, I don't know, on Facebook, in which you can collect and you can identify or it's difficult.
Yeah, it requires this natural language processing analysis and special expertise.
Yeah. So, but it's interesting. I'm really curious.
Because we are working on this with applying NLP, natural language processing. Even one of my PhD students do this.
Fantastic.
Yeah, because she's doing generative AI, such kind of stuff. And in our previous study, try to incorporate in the walkability these data sets from social media just to get user perception.
Interesting. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
And maybe to move to online
Yeah.
presentation.
Oh, I don't know if there is. Yota. Yota, could you listen to me?
Dear Chiara, how are
Yeah.
you? Good morning to everyone. Can you hear me?
Doesn't work.
It seems she's speaking.
Can you hear me now?
This one doesn't work. Okay.
Maybe now.
Yota.
Yes, Chiara, can you hear me?
She's speaking, but we don't listen to you. Do you listen to me?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
fantastically.
Chiara, can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Good morning to everyone. Thank you very, very much. Dear Chiara, I have sent you an email yesterday.
Yes, I
it's
saw
very-
this morning.
Yes, because you always help me, Anyway, I will try to do the sharing, but anyway, I'll send you this email. Thank you for everything.
No, you're really welcome. For me, it's a big pity not to see physically, but I hope the next year or somewhere in some place in the world. I hope.
Yes.
No, okay.
I hope so. Thank you so much.
Okay, I give the floor to our chair. So please.
Yes, I will be the last. I can have the last slot if you like. There's no problem.
You can go now.
You can go now. Yeah, you can.
I can go now.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, just give me a second to see if I can share my presentation. Can you see something? I don't know.
Yeah, we see the screen now.
Yes, we see. I give the floor to our
Just a minute, because my network is unstable. Just a minute, once again. I'm so sorry. Just a minute. Okay. I don't know if you can see my first slide.
We see you.
Just let me know if it's okay. Can you see the first slide?
No, not yet.
No, not yet.
No. Because I can see the first slide, but I don't know what is happening.
Did you share the screen?
Yes, I can. Yes, I did that, but I don't know what is going on. Dear Chiara, can you please take care sharing the presentation for me?
Yes.
Just a minute.
Qual è Chiara?
Giù.
Okay.
PowerPoint.
One second. Okay.
Thank you so much, dear Chiara. Thank you. Thank you so much. Excellent, thank you. So let's go to the first slide. Dear colleagues, before I begin, I would like to congratulate the conference organizers and my dear colleague, Professor Chiara Guerau, who is really the driving force behind this international workshop on Ireland. It is a great honor to participate, and I hope that we will continue to work together on this important issue on sustainable development in island communities. Today, I will discuss how islands can help their countries to achieve energy neutrality, while also ensuring their own energy autonomy without endangering their local identity and resilience. Can we have the second slide, please?
Do you see
Thank you. It goes without saying that sustainable energy planning requires the responsible use of renewable energy sources, as well as respect for the characteristics and carrying capacity of places, landscapes, and communities. The main challenge lies in developing national policies that facilitate the sustainable energy transition and using innovation technology to create new methods of producing, storing, and distributing energy from renewable sources. A dominant global trend in this regard is the organization of sustainable energy communities at various spatial levels. Island regions are of particular interest due to their location, size, energy demand, complexity, vulnerability, seasonality, and remoteness. And contemporary practice shows that achieving energy self-sufficiency requires sustainable resource management and small-scale infrastructures. Can we move to the third one, please? The research I'm about to present contributes to the ongoing debate by exploring the potential for inter-island cooperation in the development of renewable energy communities in insular regions. In this context, it's really important to recognize that the sustainable energy transition is particularly crucial for islands regions that depend on tourism or that have infrastructure and activities concentrated beyond the local level, such as transport, education, and production. The same applies to small remote islands that struggle to connect to the national grid or rely on the energy infrastructure of large neighboring islands. Based on the above, it is really crucial to plan the energy transition at the local level. This prevents the uncritical adoption of models that do not really align with the specificities of a given location, and therefore it is really important to understand the unique features of islands. Can we move to the fourth slide, please? In Greece, our place of reference, the favorable factor for setting up renewable energy communities on islands is the abundance of wind, solar, and marine energy sources. However, limiting factors include the fragmented structure of island regions and their varieties, such as island size and development patterns. Our other important factors include the characteristics and limitation of maritime spaces and the variety of natural and man-made landscape. Against this backdrop, the selection of the Cyclades was not random. The key factors are shown on the slide. However, regardless of the place of reference, it's very important to emphasize that although the Greek institutional framework aligns national targets with European directives, these targets do not take into account the country's unique geopolitical, natural, cultural, or socioeconomic feature, nor its distinct spatial units such as islands. Along this line, and in the light of the new spatial framework for renewable sources currently under discussion in Greece, the country's energy transition strategy must be reconsidered. This should be based on a new methodology that recognizes local specificities within a broader national and international context. Can we have the next one, please? The proposed multifactorial methodology uses spatial and energy criteria to identify favorable and restrictive parameters for energy utilization on each island. The aim is to determine which islands could form renewable energy communities and the role that each island would play. The first group consists of the largest islands, which have undergone infrastructure development and experiences an increase in their permanent population. And the second group consists of smaller, less populated islands that have undergone limited development. However, they have also experienced significant urban sprawl and growing tourism. This proposed new multifactorial methodology is based on two complementary surveys which were conducted to identify islands hubs and determine their functions at various scales. Can we have the next one, please? The first survey focuses on assessing the energy profile and dynamics of the Cyclades. The focus is on the northeastern Cyclades because they contribute significantly to national energy production from renewable sources. The energy relations observed between the larger islands and their smaller neighbors suggest that Andros, Tinos, Paros, and Naxos could become main nodes in renewable energy communities. Can we have the next one, please? This first survey is based on 6 key research factors, namely the climate features of the islands, their integration into the national energy network, their contribution to the national LNG production through renewable energy sources, their local energy demands, their current level of energy autonomy, and last but not least, their future role in Greece's energy transition through the utilization of renewable energy development. Can we have the next one, please? The key findings from the first survey are categorized into the 5 themes so on this slide. Specifically, the survey revealed the growing number of incompatible human activities and infrastructure in territorial and maritime areas, along with over-tourism and urban sprawl, increases the vulnerability of islands as they put pressure on natural and cultural ecosystem, threatening landscapes, and of course, increasing energy demand. The Cyclades has favorable climatic and geogrammatical characteristics, and this specific complex currently comprise 2 groups of islands, the interconnected islands and the non-interconnected islands. And the main node in these networks are the islands of Andros, Tinos, Paros, and Naxos. Unfortunately, oil-fueled thermal power stations still largely meet the energy needs of the Cyclades. And last but not least, official data shows that among the Cyclades island, Paros, Naxos, Tinos stand out in terms of their use of renewable energy sources, and these islands have attracted the most interest and investment in proposed renewable energy projects, particularly wind farms. And this is really not a coincidence. They all, this island have favorable climatic conditions, and they were among the first islands to be connected to the national power grid. Can we have the next one, please? The second survey focuses on the island of Andros, Tinos, Paros, and Naxos. The first survey identified these islands as having the potential to become key renewable energy hubs due to their level of development and energy resources. This second survey is based on the assessment criteria for local spatial development and energy demand characteristic, and its aim is to really reveal the dynamic renewable energy communities in the Cyclades. As can be seen on the slide, the criteria are geographical location, locus, natural and cultural heritage and the landscape, population, local economy and production sectors, accessibility and networking, services and infrastructure of supralocal reach, construction activity and tourism, and of course, energy. Can we have the next one, please? This slide presents two tables that summarize all the information in a way that allows basic findings to be extracted for further local scale investigation. The aim is to lay the ground for further research at the local and regional level. Specifically, the first table uses quantitative indicators to measure the development dynamics of the island by evaluating their demographic and socioeconomic characteristics during key periods. And the second table provides a checklist of the available supralocal infrastructure related to production, transportation, and the social and technical sectors on the four islands, detailed the quantity of its parameters. So special attention was given to settlement structure, urban density, construction activity, demographic data, production sectors, tourism and infrastructure, natural cultural environment and the landscape, and of course, energy sources. Can we move to the next one, please? As you run through some of the most important findings of this research on this slide, it is worth briefly pointing out that all four islands boast a significant natural and cultural heritage as well as diverse landscape. However, all islands have issues with their technical and social infrastructures. Paros and Naxos are the most dynamic in terms of economic growth. Nevertheless, both islands are under significant pressure due to the intense urban development and of course, over tourism. And it is also worth noting that the research shown that the northeastern islands of the Cyclades are expected to face the greatest pressure as supra-regional hubs for the production, storage, and distribution of renewable energy for two main reasons. Firstly, as part of the national energy grid, they can exploit renewable energy sources within their terrestrial and maritime areas to meet national demand. And secondly, their favorable climatic and geomorphological characteristics ensure high participation rates in national renewable energy production. Therefore, a clearly defined island policy is needed to determine their role in the country's tourism development and, of course, energy transition. Can we have the next one, please? The study identifies three sustainable energy communities in the Cyclades from north to south. The first one is Andros and Tinos. The second one is Paros, including the smaller islands of Adiparos, Ios, Sikinos, and Folegandros. And the third one is Naxos, including Amorgos and the small Cyclades, an island group formed by Koufonisia, Skinusa, Iraklia, and Donusa. The primary nodes of these three communities are Andros, Tinos, Paros, and Naxos, and these three communities are of particular interest in terms of sustainable energy planning. Specifically, the first community, could serve as a case study given the key role its islands play in the country's energy transition and the local level's challenges this role poses with regard to protecting and managing natural and cultural resources while respecting the island's vulnerability. On the other hand, the second and the third communities are of interest as well due to the increased need for connectivity between the main hub islands, namely Paros and Naxos, and neighboring smaller islands. This requires the development of smaller scale energy infrastructure on land and at sea. Can we have the last one, please? Okay. Clearly, sustainable energy transition and energy self-sufficiency are vital for the resilience and competitiveness of vulnerable island regions. To this end, it is strongly recommended that achieving energy neutrality requires the classification of islands, development dynamics by type, alongside an evaluation of the unique characteristic presented by each island and its local energy need. Such challenges include factors such as size, the natural and man-made environment, and of course, the landscape quality. Therefore, to ensure a successful energy transition, a multifactorial research approach is strongly recommended, assessing geopolitical, geographical, environmental, spatial, socioeconomic, and of course, energy criteria. And the next stage of this research should focus on investigating issues at the local level, particularly the organization of new innovative planning tools for location selection, and of course the development of production and production, storage, and distribution units. And can we have the last one, just to say thank you very, very much for listening to my presentation. I hope the time is okay. I don't know, because I cannot see you and I cannot feel you. I will try to open my camera now.
Yeah, we have
Thank
enough.
you, dear.
Thank you.
Friends.
Thank you for the nice presentation and very nice photo from Greece.
Thank you very much. Thank
Yeah,
you. I hope next time we will be together. I don't know. This is my hope anyway.
Okay.
Stop sharing.
What kind of renewable energy sources are considered in your study? Did you find some priorities? Or do you hear us? Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you now. There are some priorities, but the main problem here in Greece, as I told you before, is that there is no an overall strategy for the insular region. And this is the main problem. At this time, we are discussing about the energy neutrality and how can islands play a new role towards this direction. It is not a difficult a pathway anyway, but the main priorities, in my opinion, is to try to identify small communities in order to see how they can work together in order to ensure their autonomy, their own, their energy autonomy. That's why we try to pave the way with this first research in order to understand what is going on in this area today and which are the main challenges. And then at the local level, that it's very critical, we will try, and I hope to have your help and to do something together. We will see that this is a proposal. We will try to find the main way to research and investigate the main indicators on these islands, because the difficulty in Greece is the fragmented insular regions. We have a lot of islands with different size and different energy demands, and the over-tourism is an really critical parameter. But the main challenge that the islands are facing today in Greece is that they are trying to play a role like a tourism destination or energy hubs. And this is very challenging issue that plays a lot of questions that have been answered. That's why I told you before that it's very critical to place a specific interest on the local at the local level and investigate the specificities of the different islands.
And one more question about the data, because in every study we need to play with a lot of data sets. How is the situation with the data sources regarding the islands and maybe in Greece in general? Because I'm from Bulgaria, I'm also in the research and struggling in accessing the data in order to perform valuable analysis. So what is the situation with your study?
Unfortunately, the situation is not very helpful. We are facing a lot of difficulties to find the data. Of course, we can find data for populations and some activities about main sectors. It is okay with that issues. The problem is how can we evaluate more qualitative parameters, and this is very important in Greece because each island has its unique character, and on the same island there are a lot of difference. And if we try to set a strategy in Greece, that's why we don't have an overall strategy. It is very difficult because we try to create a strategy and a plan for every island, and this is not the case. I know it's very difficult to focus on its island, but it's important because nowadays small islands, especially small islands, are facing many challenges during the energy neutrality. So it's very difficult to find data at local level. It's very difficult. You have to do extra research, and we will try to do that at the following steps. And I hope to manage to do that. We will start with one of these communities, maybe one of the two last communities that they have inside a lot of small islands, and we will see how it will go. But it's very difficult to find data in Greece.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Any questions from the audience? Do you have any questions? No? Okay, so let's move to the next presentation, which is...
Thank you very much.
Yeah. The next presenter is Chiara Spadaro, and the title of the presentation is Exploring Mobility as a Service, DRT Integration through a Systematic Literature Review, Methodological Insights for Rural Mobility Planning. So Chiara, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I will share the screen. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we see the presentation.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. My name is Chiara Spadaro. I am a PhD student from the University of Ennacore, and today I will present a contribution conducted in collaboration with my research team and my supervisor related on the mobility as a service and the integration of demand responsive transport with a particular focus on rural areas. Because our starting point is a simple one, as we can see from this data. The first point is the regional disparities. So we can count the 29% of European citizens that lives actually in rural areas, where the infrastructures are undeveloped, the public transport is limited, and we can count a huge distances between the destinations. Also, we can talk about the limitation of public transport characterized by fixed routes, rigid timetables. And these, of course, prove a lot of criticalities and inefficiency, mostly in a low demand area. This is why we need to push more on the integrated PT and DRT services that can actually optimize the available resources. But another third point is related to mobility as a service that is emerging as an integrated mobility strategies, because it's a platform used to plan, book, and pay for different kind of transport modes. And we can say that it can establish itself a more efficient, inclusive, and sustainable mobility. If we want to start from the DRT services, two things becomes clear. Of course, we can talk about the unbalanced distribution of services that we can count nowadays. An important thing is the regulatory constraint. So we have an important lack of technical coordination, and another important thing is that the rural areas must be explicit in urban mobility plans in order to try to develop some territorial strategies. But also talking about mobility as a service platforms and in general digital key elements, this kind of digital integration can make it possible to coordinate not only the integration of DRT inside the mass platforms, but also the integration between DRT and public transport. In this way, it is possible to reduce the overlaps and try to create a economic sustainability. But concerning the development of mass, what we can learn from literature is that these single platforms integrate public transport on demand service and is able to create multimodality point of view and also a unique ticketing system. This kind of adoption is growing and rapidly, mostly in countries like Netherlands, Sweden, Finland, but also Japan, characterized by a lot of rural areas. But what is interesting about MAS is its flexibility, because thanks to this, we can try to improve planning solution, we can try to improve journey times and also the criticalities and the fragmentation of public transport. So in this way, it is possible to improve the accessibility of public transport, of accessible for example, for elderly, but also for people with disabilities. And in this way, it is possible also to improve the adoption of shared mobility, reduce the barriers to the use of public transport, and reduce the use of private cars. But what is interesting for our contribution is that is related to our idea. Our idea was to go through this mass model existing in literature review in order to analyze three main elements related to the access for different transport operation in the same area, the ticketing and booking consolidation, all in a single platforms, and also the improvement of not only the technologies but also the information. In this way, it is possible to provide real-time information and improve in real time the transport demand. However, of course, we need to talk about some research gaps existing in literature, like the scarcity of concrete case studies that maybe there are a few case studies, but they are not analyzed in a specific way, the impact in long term. Also, the limited integration between public and private service operators, which is an important aim not only for our research but mostly for my PhD research, and also the risk of digital exclusion and the lack of effective policies in order to integrate mass and DRT. So we decided to conduct a systematic literature review on the main scientific database regarding only at the last 10 years, and combining specific specific keywords like related to mobility as a service and demand responsive transport, of course, but adding progressively specific keywords related to public transport, but also to rural areas, social inclusion, and social exclusion. And what we found is that most of the contribution talk about and adopt a theoretical and descriptive approach. So they are presenting mass as a desirable strategy to be achieved. Instead, on the other hand, the practical case studies remain, if I can say, limited, because they are always context dependent and they are difficult to be generalized. If we want to underline two main themes, we can talk about the impact of mass integrated with DRT in order to analyze the territorial cohesion, and also the effects on sustainability and social inclusion with a particular focus on rural areas. We also saw that the integration of DRT into mass platforms can optimize journey times, operating costs, and kilometers travel. And also some of the pilot projects demonstrate that there is an operational, technological, and fair integration between mass, DRT, but also public transport. And thanks to this integration, we can guarantee flexibility for users and try to achieve the sustainable goal related of 2030 agenda. So mass is emerging as a policy tool for social and territorial cohesion. At the same time, if we regard our specific pilot projects related to rural areas, we can see that the success of these models, does not depend on the increase of passengers numbers, but on its design. So it is important to design a mass platforms with a DRT integration related and in a specific way for each low demand context. So we need to prefer simplified solutions like mass light. In this way, we can have immediate benefits and try to avoid the standardized approach. Also, as we can see from the right side of this slide, most of the contribution focused more on two main themes, which are the accessibility and territorial cohesion and the sustainability and inclusion point of view. Only a few of them instead focused on the technological evolution and the related impacts in long term of these mass platforms. I'm going to conclude just underlining something that I consider is quite important. So the integration of mass with these flexible solutions can represent a fundamental pillar of modern sustainability. And this is, I think, the first step in order to establish a more policy framework, define some policies and integration strategies in order to improve the collaboration and the synergical um, operating point of view of private and public transport operators. The main aim also should be to create a single system, not only for ticketing, but also for payment. In this way, we can have a single interface. And also regarding the economic sustainability point of view, it is important mostly and especially in areas with low demand to follow, to persuade this kind of integrated governance models, because in this way we can balance the operating cost and also the regional unbalances. And as regard the future steps, we want to focus more and prioritize the experimentation and the empirical evidence, because in this way we can improve and support the transition from a conceptual and a descriptive models and point of view to a real integrated DRT mass solutions, also to improve as a final aim the attractiveness of public transport and transport mode in general. Thank you.
Thank you for the nice presentation, Chiara. Do you have any insights about the different mobility modes that are considered in those studies? For example, how the public transport is combined with different means of transportation, like private buses or some e-scooters, shared electric vehicles, such kind of modes.
Yes, we see from literature review that inside these mass platforms, we can find not only the integration between public transport related to the buses and these kind of DRT solutions, but also some e-scooters, shared mobility with cars, with scooters, and in this way it is possible to reach from the point A to the point B in a different kind of transport modes and in the easiest way that the passengers need. So we are now working on this integration mostly between PT and DRT, try to analyze mostly the operational, the service operator's point of view, because it is important to understand how in practice this kind of integration can work better. Regarding, for example, at some public foundings, and try to improve and add in these mass platforms all kind of transport modes that seems to be accessible for everyone.
And did you explore European initiatives regarding the establishment of common European mobility data space? Because there is a very large European project with 9 cities in Europe. If you want, I can share more information later about this. But the idea is to create a common European mobility data space where different providers of transportation and mobility services can share data, and based on shared data, new services and new products to be developed for the citizens. For example, for the Sofia city, we have a use case even to combine public transport with green means of transportation. So did you explore these European initiatives?
This could be great. So thank you for your suggestion. At the moment, we explored DRT and PT integration distribution over the world with a particular focus on Italy and UK case studies. And now we are, as I said in the presentation, focused on the real mass platforms that already integrate the DRT and the PT. But of course, yeah, I will take your suggestion, because I think it's really interesting to understand also this kind of point of view.
And also you can consider to look at the barriers to create those mobility as a service, because what we faced, one barrier is the lack of trust between mobility operators. For example, they they scared to share those data in order to create such kind.
And also the open source data is they are really quite difficult to be open for everyone, and not all kind of data are useful. So
Yep, most public transport operators share the data. Even we fight 5 years with the Sofia Urban Mobility Center, but now they share the data for the public transport open. So you can integrate the data in any kind of application.
But I know my scholarship is also funded by a public transportation company, so I can understand you. We are now trying to have this kind of data, so we hope that one day they will share with us this kind of data, because we want to do a comparison between UK and also between Romania, which are the two main case studies that we want to go through. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And any other questions?
Thank you again.
From the audience? No? So we can move to the next
Thank
presentation,
you.
which is mine. And the last one.
I just need to share the screen for
Okay.
the people at home.
It's okay.
I don't know why it's not working there, maybe. Okay, now I think it's
Okay, now it works. So my presentation is somehow related to already presented studies, and this study is called user-centric routing based on residents' needs and preferences. But it is part of this big project that I mentioned.
sorry,
Okay.
because they are not seen at all. Don't know why.
Okay.
I'll just try again to share.
Maybe to share entire screen.
Yeah. I'm sharing now, so. Okay. I don't know why I. Oh, Dio mio.
Almost done.
Doesn't work here.
But it works on your phone.
Sorry, just. Okay, sorry.
Okay, so we can start. So this is part of this big European project called Shared Mobility Data Space, where Sofia has two use cases. One use case is to deliver mobility as a service by combining public transport with green mobility of transportation, such as e-scooters, shared electric cars, shared bicycles. And our second use case is related to walkability and to navigation, the people in urban environment. So what we found in the literature that the walkability metrics are developed usually for the general residents, and some of the studies also consider specific user groups. What we want to achieve is to have a common framework, a common walkability index as a set of metrics, and those metrics to be aligned with the needs of different user groups in the city. So our study, it is too small, but I will go then deeply. Start, of course, with identification of data sets that we need to calculate the metrics and indicators. Of course, we need pre-processing of the data in order to harmonize the data sets. Definition of different walkability scores for different user groups and different weights for the metrics that we used, and finally to perform some experiments finding different paths for different user groups. So the idea is to have a most comfortable route from point A to point B. So we are not looking for the shortest path, like, for example, Google Maps prescribed, but to consider these user needs in the analysis. So we have in place pedestrian network, which is our main data set, having the type of pedestrian segment and also the length. The street network, from where we extract the vehicle speed limits and number of lanes. Then we have information about sidewalks, street parking areas, bike lanes, and other elements of road network. We have different points of interest in the city because sometimes the people want to go around significant places in the city or just to go for shopping or something else. Then we consider elevation in the urban environment, and the pre-processing steps that you see here include matching pedestrian network segments and sidewalk polygons. Then we enrich sidewalk polygons with a width attribute, calculate the slope of pedestrian network segments, analyze the pedestrian network segments with respect to traffic noise. That is why we need here the vehicle speed limits and number of lanes. And finally, we evaluate the quality of pedestrian network regarding the points of interest. So we start with 6 population groups, including generic pedestrian, elderly people, children, women, tourists, and wheelchair users, users with disabilities. And we identify 4 main categories to be considered in the walkability. This is sidewalk width, traffic perception, slope, points of interest, accessibility, and type. In order to define the scores and the weights for those categories regarding the different population groups, we performed literature review. So we defined the scores based on current studies in Scopus and Web of Science, and also based on pedestrian quality index prescribed by National Association of City Transportation Officials. So here you can see the scores about the sidewalk width, where we follow the approach proposed by San Francisco Department of Public Health. And on the right side, you can see what NACTO prescribe as a walkability metric. Then we analyze noise and traffic perception. And here you can see different scores about different level of noise estimation. So when we estimate the noise, we consider both lanes of the road network, number of lanes, and also the speed limit. This is some kind of workaround because when you don't have actually noise data or noise map of the city, you can just try to estimate what could be the impact of the noise. Then we consider SWOP analysis. So again, we use evaluation based on the current literature, and suggestion is that incline of 8% is critical for more pedestrians. For more granularity, we put additional 2 ranges here for the slope, and this is again assigned as an attribute of each pedestrian segment in the analysis. Then we have this point of accessibility metric. What we do is to find points of interest that are closed on a preliminary defined proximity around this segment, and based on this we calculate points of accessibility metric. And finally, we have custom designed metric regarding the different types of segments that connect actually pedestrian segments. So depending on the end user should be navigated through crossing with a traffic light, with passing zebra or parking, or use some other crossings. We then assign different weights, which is especially related to the people with disabilities in the city. Then, in order to define those weights, we actually perform multi-criteria decision analysis. So we map our features, our metrics to those that are available in the selected literature review papers, and define so-called correlation matrices. And here you can see some sample correlation matrix. On the left side are our metrics, or here are the metrics identified in the study, and we use those correlation matrices in order to put weights for our metrics. So here you can see the results for the weights regarding different user groups, and as I mentioned, those weights are used during the navigation. And here you can see how we calculate the cost of each pedestrian segment. So the idea is to transform the pedestrian network like a graph network, then to have this cost estimation for each edge of those graph, and then to perform simple path traversal analysis applying some algorithms, for example, like Dijkstra. And here you can see how the walkability scores looks for different user groups. And here we calculate actually those scores for the pedestrian segments. And here is the situation with the tourism, because there usually goes in the city center, not in the rural areas. This is the whole area of Sofia municipality. Of course, the score is higher in the city center. And here you can see that the higher scores are concentrated in the inner city of the city, and this is related to the whole user groups. And then, based on those metrics and weights, we perform these navigation scenarios for we want to find different paths from point A to point B for the different user groups. So here you can see that there is a slight differentiation regarding the preferences of different user groups, but this is, I'm not sure if I have this picture when you can see what, for example, Google Maps prescribe when you want to go from one point to another point. And here you can see what our actually algorithm prescribes based on different preferences of the users. In the summary, we propose a common framework that can be replicated, of course, in different cities, considering those user needs. We use this corresponding matrix in order to estimate the weights of our metrics, and it is easily to add more sources from the literature in order to evaluate additional metrics. And as a future work, we consider to implement a more sophisticated method to analyze the points of interest, accessibility, not, for example, the method we used as a radius, but the actual proximity to point of interest, to validate the framework in another cities, incorporate additional studies, and add more factors, indicators of urban environment and additional user groups. Actually, in our other study, we implemented a mobile application that can be used for those navigation. And what we add in the app is functionality that the user can click on the street segment and to put to answer some questions about the quality of the urban environment. So we use the app to provide as a service, but also to collect data, and that data can be then integrated in the analysis to align the user with his or her needs. So this brings me to the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
I have congratulations for your really interesting work, and I have just a curiosity if you find in your work some unpredictable results. For instance, the reply for women or for here, or that was I don't know, unpredictable so different from the normal users, or just a curiosity, and also some tips if you have considered to consider, for instance, the feeling of parents for children, because the feeling could be different. For instance, myself as a mom, I have the perception of some street really different from the perception of my daughter. I don't know. It's just I'm thinking aloud because there is all in your analysis. So.
Yes. This is actually related to what I mentioned in the last, to have this user input, because we, for example, don't know what is the quality of urban environment in relation to how to say, if there are enough benches. For example, for the elderly people, they need more benches while walking. For the kids, they need more playgrounds. We can also input information about the shadows and the greeneries, for example, and to navigate the people through those areas to mitigate, for example, heat risk in the city. Regarding the validation, if you set up the metrics and the scores initially to calculate the cost of the edge correctly, this is the tricky moment. Then the navigation is easy because this is algorithm at the end. But we are working closely with Sofia municipality, so they help us to set up the study, to give us domain expertise about the urban environment. And then when we produce some results, we again rely on them to validate those results.
Congratulations, because you did a really incredible work.
Another approach that we use for another application, because we lack of transport data for Sofia, and I contact the company that can provide application to collect data through mobile phones. So you install application and then the app track mobility modes. But they ask too much for the data. Then we decided to implement such kind of application. And regarding the validation, what we did before to put application in production environment to public in App Store and to the Google Store, we just tested on our phone. So with some people, just to test, to see how it works, then fix problems. And
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your beautiful presentation. Actually, I was going to ask the last part that you have mentioned about your other projects. You say you also do some urban quality analysis, if I understand right, and it's a kind of complementary analysis with the project. And so how you could measure the urban quality? Do you use any kind of data?
Yes. Actually, maybe to start from the beginning, I'm a research lead in Big Data for Smart Society Gate Institute within Sofia University. So I'm leading the Future Cities application domain, and we are developing the first urban digital twin of Sofia municipality. So we have a lot of case studies actually. And for example, we analyzed urban heat island and urban heat risk in the city, producing these heat risk maps. And having the heat risk map, then you can put to correlate the map with the street network, and then to enrich the street network with those indicators. Then we have air quality data. Currently, we collect data from 3 sources: from municipality, from Bulgarian Executive Environment Agency, and we have City Living Lab in one district also, having real-time data from the sensors. So using air quality data, we again perform spatial prediction of air quality, because the stations measure in single points. Again, we produce a heat map with the air pollution, and then you can integrate those data in the navigation of the citizens. So,
and you also consider to use those 3D imageries for that study? I know some urban perception studies use that kind of data and integrate with it.
Yes. With this mobile app, this is the idea, to have more user perception, how the citizen feels actually the urban environment, but
more experiment based.
Yeah, we need time to collect such kind of data actually. So yeah, the key is the data. Yeah, the models, the analytics, AI is there, but the challenge is the data, and that is why Europe are now pushing those initiatives about the data spaces. They're data spaces in different domains, not only mobility, but we have another project for data spaces for smart cities and communities. And our pilot there is about positive energy districts. So, yeah. But I'm open to discuss those initiative studies during the conference days.
Thank you so much for your interesting presentation. Just a curiosity. I'm not an expert in this field, so do you think that this tool could be somehow used as a decision-making tools by the public administration, for example, to decide if realize or how to realize new bike routes, where, how, when, and so on?
Yeah, of course, definitely, because the digital twin as a concept is to be decision-making too. And finally, when the digital twin produce some new knowledge, new insight, then the city stakeholders can use this knowledge to take some measures in the city, to perform some actions. And then with the digital twin, you can again collect additional data based on interventions and put the data back in the digital twin to see what is improved or what is not improved. So this is the idea, but I'm also not expert in geospatial data. My background is in software engineering, but I have multidisciplinary team with architect, urban planner, machine learning, AI guys, and I always translate the geocoding stuffs and geometry to the AI people, then to perform some analysis.
It's the best way to achieve your results. Thank you.
Petrova has a really important CV. She is the coordinator of the Sofia University, the Goethe Institute at the Sofia University. So I'm sorry, you didn't introduce you, so just two sentences for make you understand the importance of our keynote, of our chair. I'm sorry. So.
Yeah. Actually, our institute, I'm the co-founder of our institute. This is Horizon 2020 teaming project between Sofia University and Chalmers University of Technology. So in 2016, we applied to create a business plan to create Center of Excellence for Big Data in Eastern Europe. And there was only 55 Center of Excellences to Middle Europe. So we decided to create this in Bulgaria. And the first step was to create business plan. And we didn't believe even that we will get funding for real establishment. In 2019, we received that funding. So we have to start from scratch, like a startup, to create new building, buy equipment, set up the staff and everything. And it was also COVID situation. So I actually create my team during COVID online, not so good. But now we have this new smart building, which is close to the Faculty of Mathematics and Informatics, where I'm a professor, and we succeed to attract young people to start to do research. And not only for the cities, but also in the health, also in government sectors. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think we finish our session. So thank you to all presenters. It was nice to see wonderful presentations and valuable outcomes. And we will speak during the last days.
Thank you so much. Before this was the one was presented in another session because Cristina Capisi contemporary she's moderating another session. So finally we find a way to fix everything. Jota, bye. Bye. I hope to see you soon, and please keep in touch. Okay.
Of course, we can arrange that. Thank you very, very much. It was a pleasure being with you all.
Bye, Jota. Bye.
Bye.
And bye, Chiara. Bye, Chiara.
Bye.
Wonderful one. Yeah. So also the motion too. So finally succeeded to put it together.
Yes. So the presentations was related.
Yeah. I can give you some indicators for Ireland.
Yes.
For coastal area, not Ireland. The coastal area. This is yours.
Thank you.
Okay. Now I have to do administrative stuff with Benjamin, so I have to run faster.
Okay.
We will see during
We will see.
Yes. The coffee break that is downstairs.
Yes, it will start again at 2 p.m. after lunch.
Okay. So can I use this room to stay here?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Because I have an online meeting.
Yes, you can stay.
Okay,
Thank you. Do you need something from the coffee break?
Let me go down.
Oh, okay.
And then we will return back.
Okay, perfect.
Stavo guardando, c'è anche una spiaggia attrezzata. Spiaggia privata, non una spiaggia. Ok, quindi. Questo è recente, qua sopra c'è questo. Ah, e c'è vedi, spiaggia fluviale, il cavallo, fiume con cavallo. C'è il parco. Sembra vicina, no? Stavo facendo dove non siamo noi, abbastanza lontano. Ci vuole una macchina. Sì, c'è un diverso. Mi rimangono culturalmente quelli mi danno pulito.
Però asfalto.
Sì.
Qui no, cioè questa è asfalto però.
Ti piace?
Sì, è bello. Se no, cambiare vabbè, questi sono molto lontani, sono tutti fuori dal centro storico. Però i fiumi attraversano il paese, è bello. Qui no, bisogna andare in macchina, non fa. Però questo ponticello qua sembra in città, cioè non riesco a capire dove possa essere.
Allora, loro sono appena usciti dal museo della cattedrale, mi sa che e stiamo andando in quello che ci hai proposto tu, in quello che ci hai detto.
Quello sarà bellino, sicuramente ci sono cose strane.
Sì. Bene, andiamo di là. Si va chi vede ormai.
or other course.